Greetings, my saplings. Alright, so in today's video, we got a couple of things to talk about. In fact, we're going to be talking about 4 different shoes. Now, to be specific, we'll be talking about the Pharrell Williams BYM in pink and also in black. Then we will be talking about the Nike React Element 87 in the sail colorway and also the black colorway. To be more specific, what we're really going to be focusing on in today's video, like always in these How to Cop guides, we'll be talking about some release info, how to cop all of these shoes, and of course, some resale predictions for all of these shoes for those of you who are interested. So to kick it off with some release info, all of these shoes will be releasing on July 13th. July 13th is, of course, tomorrow, so hopefully you guys have on post notifications and you're able to view this video early enough. One thing I wanted to mention is the Nike React Element 87 already had their overseas release. This was on June 21st, so this was a while ago, but for all of you US guys, everyone in the USA, you will have your opportunity tomorrow on the 13th. If you are wondering, for the BYMs, Europe and the US is getting both colorways. Additionally, the retail on the Element 87s is going to be $160 for both colorways. Then for the BYMs in both colorways, it will be $250. So with the release info out of the way, let's talk about how to cop these shoes, because that's what you guys are here for. You want to get these shoes. So to kick it off with the BYM in both colorways, of course, the only place they are going to be releasing at is Adidas US and Adidas EU. For Adidas US, it should be around 10 a.m. Eastern time, but it might not be exactly at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll get more into that in a bit. And then the same thing goes for Adidas EU, which will be around 4 a.m. Eastern time or 4 a.m. Eastern time on the dot. So you might be wondering, since this is a Pharrell shoe, it's not a Yeezy, it's also not just a random shoe, is this going to be a first come first serve on Adidas, or are they going to be doing a waiting room similar to the splash page on the Yeezys? Well, unfortunately, we won't know for sure until 20 minutes out from the drop. As of now, though, it is a first come first serve, but you can't know for sure until 20 minutes away from the drop. And don't worry guys, I have you covered. I'm going to teach you how you can find out if it's going to be a first come first serve, or if it's going to be a splash page, or I guess you could say just a waiting room. And this of course goes for any shoe releasing on adidas.com. You could use this same method. So why don't we jump right into it? So to kick it off, you want to go onto the product page, of course. It doesn't matter which colorway. Then you want to make sure you're on Google Chrome. I forgot to mention that. Then all you got to do is tap with 2 fingers, or you might have to right click. It depends what your settings are on your computer. You will see an option that says view page source. You want to click on that. Once you click on that, you see all this weird stuff, and you're like, whoa. What is all this stuff? I don't know what the heck is going on. Well, don't worry guys, we're gonna do the same thing we did with the Barney's jig. So shout out to all the OGs up in here, because you know, with the blue tint release, if you guys remember on the Barney's jig, to find something, because everything looked crazy back then, all we did was use Command F. Command F is a fantastic tool, whether you're doing something like this, or maybe it's for a school project or something and you don't want to sift through an entire paper. All you gotta do is type in the keywords, and the keywords we're gonna be typing in is waiting room product. Now, you don't have to type in the whole thing. You could just type in waiting, or even just like wait, and you should be able to find it. It will highlight exactly what you're looking for, and you will see it says waiting room product, a colon, right next to it, it will say true or false. As of now, for this particular product, it does say false, which means it's going to be a first come first serve. However, it does update as we get closer to the release date, and it usually changes for sure at around like 20 minutes before the release, perhaps at like 9:30, 9:40, sometimes even 9:50. This is what we've seen with the human race, so it will say false all the way up until we get really close to that release time. So you just gotta keep checking, keep doing this, keep refreshing every once in a while. I'm still deciding if I should do a live stream for these shoes. I'm not exactly sure. Perhaps I will, perhaps I won't. Comment down below if you guys would like me to do a stream, because honestly guys, I kind of want to. I like having fun with you guys, copping together. But anyway, of course, if it is a splash page, you guys should know what to do. Everyone at least who's been in this community for a very long time, you guys know we're going to be using the multiple people jig, since it is going to be a randomized process. Adidas.com tracks your cookies, not your IP address, so by creating multiple Chrome users, you're going to have the best chance possible copying manually. Now, unfortunately, if it does happen to be a first come first serve, the only thing we can do is just hope for the best, be as fast as possible. I would suggest refreshing with Command R or F5 on Windows. And the reason I say this, it just allows you to keep your mouse hovering over the size selection. And with limited shoes like this, Every second does count. Speaking of that, even if it is a splash page, I would recommend setting up autofill just because it might save you time from getting cart jacked or something like that, because I understand occasionally they do give you that 10 minutes to check out, but sometimes the sizes still sell out. Then you get the processing payment error, and it's just terrible because there's no way out of it. Now, of course, we may run into some errors on Adidas.com. It's just gonna happen. There's nothing we can do about it. So first error we might encounter, say, would be the processing request error, and all you gotta do is open a new tab, X out the other, then you hit enter with the copied and pasted link in there. Then you just want to give it 3 minutes or so, then it will eventually go back to normal. Then there's also the security identified error, where all you got to do here is go into your history, clear cookies, and refresh the page. It will go back to normal immediately. And there's a few other errors, and if you want to hear me go more in depth into all of these errors, check out this video right here. This was for the Yeezy 700 release, and I really went in depth into the errors here, because I knew already you guys know how to do the multiple people jig, so I just focused on more of the errors. And if you guys don't know how to do the multiple people jig, check out this video right here. Alright, so with those shoes out of the way, let's talk about the Element 87s, because I know a lot of you guys want to cop those as well. So unfortunately, the only place these will be releasing on the 13th in the US will be Nike sneakers. EU already had their drop on June 21st, as I stated previously. And if you go to the app, it does not say draw opens at 10 a.m. Eastern time on the top left corner. If it did say that, we would know it's going to be a draw. However, it does not say that. Hence, it will be a first come, first serve. And I say first come, first serve because it's not actually whoever gets there first. It's just they give you 2 to 4 minutes. It's called a Leo to enter. And once you enter, it will say pending, and they randomly select people once everyone has entered. So that means if you were the first person to click on the shoe and click purchase, you're not exactly guaranteed the shoe. So the best thing you can do to increase your chances for this, I mentioned this in my last video with the Prestos, I went more in depth there. Essentially, you just want to make the most accounts possible. Now, unfortunately, Nike Sneakers does track IP addresses. Through trial and error, I found out that, at least with my router, I could only have 3 accounts max per IP address. If you have any more, you do risk getting banned. I've heard of people using 5 or 6 accounts on their own IP address and they weren't banned, but I've heard of people only using 3 and sometimes they were banned. So in my opinion, I think 3 is the safest bet. Now, of course, if you want to use more accounts, you know, the more the merrier. I would recommend using VPNs for each of them, or using different devices on long-term evolution so they have different gateways. Now, also for each account you set up, you guys know you should be using different email addresses. You should be using different phone numbers. You could keep the address the same if you were wondering, but I would actually recommend that you change up the payment method just to be safe. And also, for every single account that you're deciding to use, say you want to set up 6 accounts or 5 accounts, maybe 10, for each and every one of those accounts, make sure you set it up beforehand, meaning have your size pre-selected, have your address already filled in, have your payment already filled in, all that good stuff. The reason I'm saying this is because it's not going to be a draw where you get 10 minutes to 30 minutes. You're only going to have 2 to 4 minutes to get all your accounts in and have the best chance possible. Anyway, that's really going to conclude it for the how to cop portion for both of these shoes. There's only 2 places that they're going to be releasing. It's going to be a little difficult. We're going to have to just pray for the best. Anyway, though, with that out of the way, let's talk about resale, because I know a lot of you guys are interested in that. So I'm definitely predicting that all of these shoes, whether it be the Element 87s or the BYMs, I think they're all going to sell out. So if you want a personal pair, I do not suggest sleeping on any of them. If anything, the only pair that I think may potentially sit for just a small amount of time would be the black Element 87. But other than that, I really do think that all of them will sell out, and in time, the black Element 87 should sell out as well. But if you were wondering for the Element 87s, I would actually suggest picking up the sale colorway for resale purposes also, if you don't want to keep it for personal wear. The retail on them is only $160, which leaves tons of wiggle room for profit. Right now, they're looking pretty good. Of course, you will expect a pretty decent drop as more pairs go into circulation, because right now we really only had that Europe release, but I still do think after they go into circulation, you will still be able to make profit off of them. And hey, who knows, maybe you'll be able to profit off of the black pair as well. I'm just saying it's not worth the risk for the black pair, so just stick to the sale if you only want to resell them. Now, moving on to the BYMs, I actually think that both colorways are going to be profitable. Now, keep in mind, I don't think they're going to be very profitable. I think they're going to react very similar to how the human races in the coral colorway did, or in the chalk colorway did. I really do think where we saw like the really high prices and then they shot down to like the $300 to $400 range. I really think that's what we're going to be seeing with these. But despite that high retail of $250, that still does leave a little room for profit. And who knows, right now, they're looking absolutely great on StockX or on GOAT or wherever you're deciding to sell. If you guys were wondering, I don't actually suggest selling on StockX. I always stick to Facebook groups, but I use StockX as a reference point just because that's the most conservative approach. Because if it's going to be profitable on StockX where they take 13%, it's going to be profitable everywhere else. So anyway, my point is that I do think you'll be able to make some profit with these BYMs, but expect a very heavy drop as more pairs go into circulation. But not only that, I really do think the hype is kind of going to die on these. And I would not suggest holding these at all. I would suggest just selling them as soon as you get them. But you know, if you like the way these shoes look, of course, keep them for yourself. You know, shoes were meant to be worn. I probably will be keeping a pair of those Element 87s if I get a pair. Not so sure about the BYMs, that's just my personal opinion. But you know, you guys do whatever you want to do with that though. I'm going to finish the video, so feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Good luck on copying these shoes, of course. Subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay updated on every single hyped shoe. But with that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic...
I should have run the other way. Now there's just one thing to say. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.